Hey, welcome to Outback in the Woods. Sorry it's been such a long time since we released any videos, but we had some health issues to deal with, um, and it was kind of scary there for a while for my sidekick. So, needless to say, she is doing much better. Since then, we've also relocated from Owensboro, and I want to take the time to say thank you to Rock Hill Gun Range. You guys have been great. Since then, now we're over here in northern Kentucky, and we have another shooting range, actually two of them, that sit side by side. So we will be utilizing both of those. But to go forward in what we were going to talk about, last year I was working with a Walther Arms UZI 22 caliber, and I was going to follow up. There is a little special that I'm going to tag on with that I'm going to cover. I'll give you a hint. For some people, it's replacement magazines for those. I have one here. It's 3D printed by a friend up in the Detroit, Michigan area. This is a prototype. We've ran probably close to, I'm going to say about 700 rounds to it so far. And outside of that, if everybody also remembers, I had an MP5 clone, which is the German sports gun, GSG 522. It is definitely a very good knockoff. Since you've seen it in the last video, its looks have changed. So I will go over everything in due time. But after that, we're going to head to the range first, do some shooting with both, and demonstrate the 3D printed magazine. Yes, I said 3D printed magazine for the Uzi. And also we'll take the 110 round drum for the MP5. From the time I've had that drum, at first it was kind of a pain in the ass. It did kind of jam up every so often. But after a while, you kind of figure out what you're doing wrong. So it starts working better, much better after you've fed it a couple hundred, well, not a couple hundred times, but feels like a couple hundred times. And nowadays, we try not to fill it to its max. We might maybe shove 550, something like that. I started to say 550. But anyways, you get the general gist of it. We do usually feed about 50 through it, because anything else is kind of a waste at this point. Or gratuitous, take your pick, but hey, it's all fun, right? But anyways, we'll get out to the range and we'll do some shooting. So after that, we'll have a little bit more of an open discussion with things, and we'll go from there. I'm also changing the format of our videos a little bit more. Might actually go with a podcast, but hey, who knows? I might come up with something different. But meanwhile, stay tuned. We'll get started right away. Okay, so beside me here, I'm holding an original 22 caliber Walther Arms magazine for the 22 Uzi. This hand, I am holding a 3D printed version. Virtually, there's no difference between the two, outside of that you can actually see the lines in this. I can't tell you too much about it. Like, again, this is a prototype. That's there's been a few of them made, and I can honestly tell you it gets better as you work with it. As far as I made a few little minor modifications to it and let the guy know that ahead of time that what I did to make a change, and it actually fed a little bit better. And it's been good. I mean, I have 0 jams out of this. I probably put close to 200 rounds to it last weekend, and I had 0 jams. So that's a real good. No feed issues or anything like that. So that's a great deal. So once we get this out, I'm pretty sure that we will try to work on getting a larger one. This only holds 20. Personally, I like to see one for maybe 30. as a minimum. I think 30 rounds would be perfect for this, and possibly see if we can't make it where we can adapt it to work with the 50 round or 110 round drum that GSG has. So we'll see. But for the time being, this right here is what we're going to be talking about. Okay, down on the range here, as you see, I got the Walter UZI, which is a 22 caliber. They don't make this anymore, by the way. Finding spare magazines is a pain in the ass. So, what do we have? Here's the original. Here's a 3D printed one. And I gotta say, from the primary testing so far, I'm going to share this testing right here, right now. So, don't forget your ear protection if you got eye protection. Usually with 22 I don't, but I honestly should. But we're going to fire off some rounds downrange, about 50 yards. And I know you guys probably can't see me from the way I am sitting, but let's rock. Put it on safe. Eject. All bullets have been fired. So that shows you how dependable a 3D print can be done. Now we're going to go ahead, do a standard magazine. Don't laugh, but sound like a misfire already. No feed. So that's the irony of this. That there was a misfeed on the original. So don't laugh. But outside of the initial misfeed, right off the bat, everything fired perfect. The little Uzi, I gotta say, I haven't really changed it. Originally, I took the forearm off, put a bipod on it because you can do that. However, or you put a forearm on it, even foregrip. So it's a little configurable, but you know, for using it just like this, it's great. I have seen where you can get some sights for it as far as a top mount scope, but honestly, you really don't need it. The gun itself is a very nice build, virtually all metal construction. This is the only thing that's polymer on it. So outside of that, very well constructed. You know, I wish I could tell you more about this gun. You know, I've had it for a little bit over a year, and it's been great. But the primary reason is this, a 3D magazine. So the 3D magazine, I mean, literally you can produce these left and right. Now earlier, you know, this is a 20. I'd like to see a 25 or a 30 round. Maybe somebody will bless us with a 25 or 30 round magazine. But overall, I know there's people that's looking for these magazines, factory originals, and quite frankly, Walther Arms don't give a living shit about us when it comes down to it. They'll basically tell you guns out of production, there's no replacement parts except for people who have warranty issues. I find that ridiculous. So it takes it upon the people on the outside, the owners, to actually be creative and make their own magazines. So who knows, maybe somebody will get an idea, maybe pick up an idea for production, maybe these go back in production as replacements. Or again, maybe you can talk a friend into 3D printing a magazine and making one that's like 25, 30 rounds. Also beats the 10 that's in here. Also, it just depends if your state's compliant, as I know some states like California, which can be retarded, will only let you have maybe 10, I guess. So be thankful for the states that you live in, Kentucky being one of them, and Ohio, that we don't have those kind of restrictions. So anyways, there you go. 3D printed magazine as a nice replacement for the Walther Arm 22 caliber Uzi. Okay, this is the carnage from the Uzi from earlier, where I was given the demonstration of 40 rounds. As you see, the targets were totally trashed. Down there is where I shot with the STG-44. So just to give you an idea, 50 yards uprange is where we were. So here we are. That was with open sights, popping targets. So not bad. Freaking great. Only missed one. Anyways, that wraps it.